Have you ever stopped to wonder why no matter how hard you work, your money just doesn't stretch like it used to? You fill up your tank, buy groceries, pay your bills, and every month it feels like you're falling further behind. It's not your imagination. It's not bad luck. It's not just inflation. It's the slow death of the US dollar, and almost no one is talking about the real reason why. Since 1971, when President Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard, our money hasn't been backed by anything real. That decision flipped the switch, from sound money to fake money, from wealth built on value to wealth built on debt, and today we're seeing the results. The purchasing power of the dollar has been decaying for decades, but now we're at a breaking point. Every time the government prints more money, your dollar buys less. That's not economics, it's theft in slow motion. And while the media screams about inflation, supply chains, and interest rates, they ignore the real issue. The dollar itself is the problem. In this video, I'll break down exactly why your savings are getting eaten alive, how this all started, and most importantly, what you can do to protect yourself before it's too late. Let's get into it. Every month, you work harder, grind longer, maybe even pick up an extra job or a side hustle. Your paycheck hits your account, and then it's gone. Groceries take a bigger bite, rent keeps climbing, gas feels like a luxury, and your credit card bill looks more like a ransom note. You try to save, but no matter how disciplined you are, your money never stretches far enough. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. And no one really explains why. They'll tell you it's inflation, that it's the supply chain, that it's just a rough patch in the economy. But I'm here to tell you the truth. Your money is dying, and you've been lied to about why. The system isn't broken, it's rigged. You were never meant to get ahead. The financial rules you were taught, save money, work hard, live below your means, those rules were written by people who profit from your ignorance. While you're out there trading your time for dollars, the value of those dollars is being silently drained. Day after day, year after year. They don't teach this in school. Your parents probably didn't know. Most financial experts don't even understand it. But if you've ever wondered why no matter how much you earn, it never feels like enough, this is it. The money in your pocket, your savings account, your retirement plan, it's being devalued. On purpose, quietly, strategically. You're not crazy, you're not lazy. You've been trapped in a game where the rules were rigged before you even started playing. And the worst part? The real cause behind it all, almost no one is talking about. It's time to wake up, because if you keep playing by the old rules, you're going to lose a game you didn't even know you were in. The moment everything changed wasn't a war, a stock market crash, or a corporate scandal. It was August 15th, 1971. That's the day President Richard Nixon made a quiet announcement on live TV that most Americans didn't understand, and still don't. He took the US dollar off the gold standard. That meant, from that day forward, our money was no longer backed by anything real. Not gold, not silver, just promises, just trust, just paper. Before 1971, every dollar in your pocket represented real value. You could, in theory, take it to the bank and exchange it for gold. Gold grounded the system. It kept governments honest, forced them to be responsible with spending, and protected the people from inflation. But once Nixon severed that link, everything changed. The dollar became a fiat currency, a fancy term that means because we say so. Now, instead of printing money tied to gold, the government could print as much as it wanted, whenever it wanted. No accountability, no breaks, just endless creation of new dollars out of thin air. What used to be value became debt. Every new dollar printed wasn't backed by gold. It was backed by the promise to pay, by more borrowing, more IOUs stacked on top of each other like a house of cards. This is when money stopped being wealth and started being a tool of manipulation. Politicians could buy votes with handouts. Banks could lend endlessly. Wall Street could gamble with fake capital. And you? You got the short end of the stick. The more money they printed, the less yours was worth. What Nixon did wasn't just a policy move. It was the trigger that launched the greatest financial scam in human history. The dollar became a lie, and that lie is still unraveling today. Most people have no clue, but once you see it, you can't unsee it, and you'll never look at money the same way again. Since 1971, the money in your pocket has been nothing more than a promise, a government IOU. It looks official. It feels important. But the truth is, it has no intrinsic value. It's not backed by gold, silver, or anything tangible. It's backed by faith, by belief, by the illusion that it's worth something simply because the government says it is. This is what's called fiat currency. Fiat comes from Latin, meaning let it be done. In simple terms, it's money that exists because they declare it so. Think about Monopoly. The paper money you use in that game has no value outside the board. It only matters because everyone playing agrees to follow the same rules. The moment someone stops believing in the value of those pink, blue, and yellow bills, the game falls apart. That's fiat currency. It only works as long as people keep believing in it. But the difference is, Monopoly ends after a couple of hours. The game we're in has been running for over 50 years, and the players are getting tired. When the US dollar was tied to gold, it had a foundation. It couldn't be printed endlessly without consequence. But once that link was broken, the government and Federal Reserve were given a blank check. They could, and did, print money whenever they wanted, to bail out banks, to fund wars, to buy votes, to mask economic failure. And every new dollar they printed made the dollars in your wallet worth a little less. It's not that your rent, your groceries, or your gas are getting more expensive. It's that your money is getting weaker. You are being paid in paper that's slowly rotting in your hands. Most people don't realize this. They work harder for a currency that's losing power every day. They save and invest in instruments built on top of this same illusion. But if the foundation is fake, everything built on it eventually crumbles. The dollar isn't strong. It's fragile, and it's running out of time. Every time you swipe your card at the grocery store or fill up your gas tank, you feel it. Something's not right. The prices keep climbing, but your paycheck stays the same. You're not imagining it. You're not overspending. You're being taxed. Not through income taxes or sales tax, but through something far more dangerous and invisible: inflation. They tell you inflation is about prices going up. That's only half the story. The real story, the part they don't want you to understand, is that inflation is the slow death of your purchasing power. It's not that gas magically became more expensive. It's not that landlords just decided to charge more rent or that food is somehow worth double what it used to be. It's that the dollar in your pocket buys less than it did yesterday. That's the real crime. A gallon of milk that used to cost $2 now runs you $4. Gas that once filled your tank for $30 now barely makes it halfway. Rent in cities that once felt affordable now swallows half your income. But the products didn't change. The value of your money did. This is what happens when governments print trillions of dollars out of thin air. They dilute the currency. They stretch the supply of money without increasing the supply of value. Imagine if you watered down your orange juice every morning. After a while, it doesn't taste like orange juice at all. That's your dollar, watered down, hollow, weak. The cruel part: most people don't see inflation for what it is. They blame business owners, oil companies, or greedy landlords. But the real culprit is the system that keeps printing, spending, and pretending it's all under control. It's not. It's not that stuff costs more. It's that your money buys less. That's inflation. And it's the hidden tax stealing from your savings, your retirement, your future, $1 at a time. For decades, you've been told to save money. Keep it in the bank, be responsible, prepare for the future. It sounds like solid advice, until you realize the system is designed to punish savers. In today's economy, saving dollars means slowly going broke. You're not building wealth. You're losing purchasing power while the banks use your money to get richer. Here's how it works. You deposit $1,000 into a savings account. The bank gives you a pat on the back and maybe 0.01% interest, if you're lucky. Meanwhile, under the fractional reserve system, that same bank is allowed to lend out 10 times your deposit. That's $10,000 created and pushed into the economy, all based on your original deposit. And while they're earning interest, collecting fees, and stacking profits, what do you get? A few cents, maybe a toaster if you're old school. But it doesn't stop there. As more money is created through loans, the total supply of dollars increases, and the more dollars in circulation, the less each one is worth. That means the $1,000 you saved last year might only buy $950 worth of goods today. That's the hidden cost of being a saver in a system built on debt and inflation. You're not rewarded for being cautious, you're punished for trusting the banks. They use your money to create more debt, and that debt becomes the foundation of their wealth. All while telling you to save more. This is the great irony. You think you're playing it safe, but the game is rigged. They profit. You lose. The rich don't save money, they save assets. They buy real estate, gold, businesses, and things that grow in value while the dollar shrinks. They understand that in a world where the money itself is dying, holding on to cash is like holding on to melting ice. It's disappearing, and fast. So, if you're still saving dollars, understand this, you're not being frugal, you're being drained. Most people hear the word debt and immediately think danger. They think of credit card bills piling up, loans they can't pay back, interest rates that suffocate their paychecks. But that's not how the rich see debt. For the wealthy, debt is a tool, maybe the most powerful tool in the game of money. The difference isn't in the debt itself. The difference is in how it's used. The poor and middle class use debt to buy liabilities, things that lose value the moment they're purchased. They swipe credit cards for clothes, vacations, gadgets, cars they can't afford, dinners they won't remember, and every month that debt drags them further down, charging them interest for the privilege of staying broke. The rich, on the other hand, use debt to buy assets. Real estate that generates monthly income, businesses that cash flow, investments that appreciate. They borrow money not to spend, but to grow. They take on millions in debt, but it's not weighing them down, it's building them up. That apartment complex they bought with borrowed money, it pays for itself. It pays off the loan, it pays the investors, and what's left becomes wealth. This is the game no one teaches you. Not in school, not in college, definitely not in the media. Because if everyone knew how to use debt like the rich do, the entire system would collapse. The banks need you scared of debt, so you borrow recklessly and repay endlessly. But the wealthy, they borrow smart, and they don't repay with their own money. Their tenants, customers, and cash-flowing assets do it for them. Debt isn't bad. Ignorance about debt is. It's not about avoiding debt, it's about mastering it. If you don't learn how to use it, it will use you, and that's exactly what's happening to millions right now. The poor borrow to survive. The rich borrow to get richer. Which side of that equation do you want to be on? We're not just watching inflation. We're witnessing the controlled demolition of the US dollar, and most people have no idea it's happening. They still believe this is a rough patch, that the system will bounce back, that the people in charge know what they're doing. But look at the numbers, they don't lie. The debt-to-GDP ratio has exploded. The United States owes far more than it produces. We are drowning in IOUs, with no way out but to print more. When a country prints more money than its economy creates in value, the writing is on the wall. The dollar isn't being inflated. It's being obliterated. Slowly. Strategically. The government won't default by missing a payment. They'll default by paying you back in worthless money. That's how they get away with it. They don't say they're broke. They just give you dollars that don't buy anything. In 2008, they bailed out the banks. In 2020, they bailed out the world. And every time, the solution was the same. Print more. Stimulus checks, subsidies, emergency funds, reverse repos. Trillions upon trillions pumped into the system with no plan to take it back. The balance sheet of the Fed is a horror story. And now, with the debt ceiling long gone and spending completely unchecked, they've backed themselves into a corner. The only way to fund their promises is to keep printing. And every new dollar printed makes yours worth less. They'll call it quantitative easing. They'll call it economic support. But call it what it is: theft. You work, you save, you sacrifice, and they quietly gut the value of everything you've earned. The collapse isn't coming. It's already started. The signs are everywhere. Look around. The economy isn't growing, it's being propped up. The currency isn't stable, it's bleeding out. We are not in a recovery. We are in a countdown. And when the dollar finally gives out, those who didn't prepare will be wiped out overnight. If you ever wondered why you never learned about money in school, why no one taught you how to manage debt, build assets, or understand inflation, it wasn't an oversight. It was intentional. The school system isn't broken. It's functioning exactly the way it was designed: to create employees, not entrepreneurs; workers, not wealth builders; obedient citizens, not free thinkers. You were trained to follow orders, memorize facts, pass tests, and above all, to work for money. But no one ever taught you how money works. They never explained compound interest, cash flow, tax laws, or the difference between assets and liabilities. Not because it's too complicated, but because the system doesn't benefit when you know. It benefits when you conform. Most teachers don't know this stuff themselves. They're good people, but they're part of the same machine. They were trained to get degrees, get jobs, get pensions, and they pass that same script to every new generation. Ask them about the fractional reserve system or the debt-to-GDP ratio, and you'll get blank stares. Not because they're dumb, because they were never taught to question the system they serve. And politicians, they rely on your ignorance. The more confused you are about taxes, money printing, interest rates, and inflation, the easier it is to sell you false promises and buy your silence with crumbs. If the public ever understood how badly they were being robbed, how the value of their labor is being drained through a rigged financial system, there would be riots in the streets. You were trained to work for money, not to understand it. That's the trap. You were taught to chase paychecks, not passive income; to fear debt, not master it; to save money, not question what money even is. But the truth is out there now. You don't need permission to learn it. You just need to decide that ignorance is no longer an option. Because once you understand how money really works, you never see the world the same way again. If you want to survive what's coming, no, if you want to thrive in it, you have to unlearn everything they taught you about money. The first rule: stop saving dollars. That's right. Stop stockpiling a currency that's being printed into worthlessness. Saving dollars today is like bailing water out of a sinking boat with a leaky bucket. It's not discipline, it's denial. Instead, save assets, real ones: gold, silver, Bitcoin, real estate, things they can't print, things that hold value even when the system crumbles. The rich aren't hoarding cash. They're collecting things that cash can't touch. They're building portfolios of assets that grow in value, generate income, and keep working even while they sleep. And it's not about your net worth. That's just a number on paper. It can rise and fall overnight with the market. What matters is cash flow. How much money flows into your pocket every month, regardless of whether you're working or not. That's freedom. That's power. That's security in a world where jobs can vanish, pensions can collapse, and currencies can die. Your house? It's not an asset unless it pays you. That's a tough pill for most people to swallow. They think owning a home is the American dream. But if your house takes money out of your pocket every month, mortgage, taxes, maintenance, it's not building wealth. It's quietly bleeding you dry. An asset pays you. A liability costs you. The distinction is everything. So, how do you protect yourself? Shift your mindset. Stop chasing status. Start acquiring assets. Learn to make money work for you instead of working for it. Study financial literacy like your life depends on it, because it does. This isn't about fear, it's about preparation. The dollar is dying, but that doesn't mean you have to go down with it. While most people are holding on to paper, hoping for a miracle, you can be building something real, something that lasts, something that pays you no matter what happens next. The dollar's death isn't a future event. It's not some far-off warning. It's happening right now, in real time, and most people are too distracted or too afraid to notice. Every paycheck you earn, every dollar you save, every price you watch rise at the gas pump or the grocery store, that's the signal. The system is flashing red. The foundation is cracking. And yet, millions keep playing by the old rules, hoping things will somehow go back to normal. But they won't. This isn't a cycle. It's a collapse. A slow-motion implosion of a currency that was never built to last this long. The politicians won't fix it. The banks won't save you. The media won't tell you the truth. That part is up to you. If you don't prepare now, you'll be part of the collapse, not the comeback. This isn't fear-mongering. It's reality. The ones who survive what's coming will be those who took action before it was obvious. They won't be the ones who saved the most cash. They'll be the ones who built the right assets, who understood cash flow, who studied money like their future depended on it. You don't have to be rich to start. You don't need permission. You just need to open your eyes, educate yourself, build assets, escape the system, learn how to use debt instead of being crushed by it. Stop working for money and start making money work for you. Get out of the trap. The window is still open, but it's closing fast. The world is changing, and those who cling to the old way will be left behind. But if you move now, if you think, act, and invest like the wealthy, you won't just survive this collapse. You'll come out stronger on the other side. While others are panicking, you'll be prepared. While they lose, you'll rise. The choice is yours. Don't wait. If this message hit you hard, good. That means you're waking up. Now the real question is, what are you going to do with it? Will you go back to saving dollars and hoping for the best? Or will you take control, educate yourself, and start building something real? If you got value from this, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone you care about. Someone still stuck in the system, still saving paper, still believing the same old lies. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. And let me know in the comments, what's the first step you're going to take to escape the dollar trap? Is it gold, Bitcoin, real estate, or just committing to learning more? This isn't just a video, it's a warning, but it's also an invitation to think different, to act different, to live free. The old system is dying. Don't go down with it. I'll see you in the next one. Stay sharp. Stay free.